Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Sean Evans with the Meridian Chamber of Commerce. And the Chamber of Commerce, in partnership with the City of Meridian, Central District Health, Crush the Curve Idaho, and numerous other business partner organizations and individuals, are proud to share with you a program that will assist Meridian businesses as they reopen for business. Our campaign is designed to educate businesses on the basic guidelines to reopen based on the Central District Health and CDC guidelines. It will allow businesses to demonstrate to the public that they're doing so in a manner that will keep Meridian healthy and open for business. Online and speaking with us today are just a few of the partners and organizations that have helped develop this program to support the Meridian business community, as well as local businesses and leaders in best practices when it comes to safely reopening. Would like to welcome today, and we'll get to them individually shortly, but joining us today is Natasha Fernie, Program Manager with Central District Health. We also have Tina Upson, Executive Director of Crush the Curve Idaho. And then speaking a little bit later, we have Andrea Sorensen and Dustin Sidaway with Lingo to share with you a product that can really help this industry as they reopen. The premise behind our campaign was getting businesses back open and restarting our economy. And this is why our group was started. We initially pursued efforts to get everyone open as early as possible, but we also saw the bigger issue of businesses might face when reopening amidst the COVID-19 crisis. And that was, will the public return to the stores or establishments when they reopen? We're contacted daily by our business members on how the governor's plan applies to their business. When can I actually open? And what guidelines does my business need to follow? While the Meridian Chamber of Commerce is not an authority on the plan or the recommended guidelines, we are here to help the Meridian businesses understand them better. The last thing we want to happen is for our local businesses is that they go to the effort and expense to open, bring back their employees, restock their shelves, and the public, the consumers, not visit their establishment out of fear or concern for their safety. The Central District Health and CDC have developed some guidelines to reduce your risk when out in public. And if businesses can follow these guidelines as they reopen and demonstrate to the public that they're serious about the public safety and health, then that will build the consumer confidence necessary to restart our economy. The Meridian Chamber of Commerce has launched the Keep Meridian Healthy and Open for Business to help our businesses build that consumer confidence. As businesses open according to the governor's 4-stage Idaho Rebounds program, we will assist Meridian businesses by conducting industry-specific webinars like this one that will provide information from Central District Health and CDC on basic guidelines for that industry. The webinars also feature local business leaders that have taken even further steps to ensure and offer services to reopen in a safe and responsible way. After businesses participate in the webinar for their industry, they'll be provided free of charge collateral materials that they can display in their store that recognizes them as participating in the Keep Meridian Healthy and Open for Business campaign. These materials include door stickers that they can show that the customer, before they even enter their store, that they're participating in a campaign that takes their safety and their health very seriously. Also includes posters for businesses to display if they choose that demonstrates and shows the things that they're doing with their employees and with their facilities to keep everything clean, sanitized, and follow the proper guidelines. There's also social media materials that we'll provide to you so you can share across your social media platforms to demonstrate to your customers and the public that you are participating in this program and concerned about their safety. Then we'll also make sure that we include all of our businesses that are participating on our website and part of our marketing campaign as we roll out the consumer confidence side of the campaign. Our program goes beyond what some other communities are doing by just creating a list of businesses that are complying. We're here helping them understand what this means for their business and sharing best practices from other industry-specific leaders. The guidelines out there are not a one-size-fits-all solution for every business. We don't know what we don't know. These industry-specific webinars seek to educate beyond a sheet of written guidelines. To be in compliance with the governor's 4-stage plan, businesses will only be provided these collateral materials when they're when their business is scheduled to open according to that plan. I want you to make sure you visit our website, keepmeridianhealthy.org, and check out next week's industry-specific webinars. And then also, as a follow-up, after opening, the participating businesses will be encouraged to answer surveys from the Meridian Chamber on how their opening is going and the sentiments from their patrons returning to the stores and businesses. This will assist us in phase 2 of our program as we build out business revitalization teams to support the Meridian businesses. As I mentioned, look to keepmeridianhealthy.org website for a full schedule of industry-specific webinars and watch replays of previous webinars. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Natasha Fernie with the Central District Health to share with you the guidelines for food establishments that are able to open in the coming days. Natasha?
Yes, thank you, Sean, and good afternoon. So phase 2 of the governor's order addresses the reopening of restaurant dining rooms, which will go into effect this Saturday, May 16th. So food service establishments were asked to submit their plan for review to their local health department prior to opening. So there are several resources out there available for food establishments to use that would help them to establish their reopening plan. So, and besides Central District Health guidance, I would also recommend a couple of resources, couple of additional resources for them to use. This would be an FDA just issued best practices for reopening retail food establishments. This is an excellent resource. Another resource was put out there by the National Restaurant Association. It is called Reopening Guidance. It is quite a comprehensive resource and one of the most comprehensive resources I've seen out there. So my team and I, when we created our guidance for food service reopening, we took National Restaurant Association document as a model. And structured our guidance after their document. So recommendations of our guidance are organized into 5 categories. So those would be food safety, cleaning and sanitizing, employee health and hygiene, social distancing and other measures, and communication. So, and I will go over in more detail of each of those categories. So food safety. We would like to emphasize that any food establishment that is looking to resume their operation or reopen their dining room should follow and maintain food safety practices as carefully as they would maintain the COVID-19 safety protocols. First of all, we recommend that before reopening, food establishments need to go through their inventory and especially be careful about food items that were left at the establishment prior to closing or limiting their operations. So it is very important to discard all out-of-date food items. So food safety practices must be followed and maintained, as I mentioned. So any food establishment should apply measures, for example, to prevent cross-contamination. They should apply measures and protocols to clean and sanitize very carefully all their cold holding equipment, as well as delivery vehicles and insulated bags for delivery. Okay. So, and of course, please follow all the rules and regulations of the Idaho Food Code. Also, it would be a good idea to provide a refresher to your employees on those safe food handling practices. So next category, cleaning and sanitizing, primarily addresses cleaning and sanitizing not only of the entire facility, but also of frequently touched surfaces. So those surfaces can include door handles, handrails, countertops, and other. It is very important for the food establishment also not to overlook back of the house, and those areas also need to be frequently cleaned and sanitized. One of other important safety measures would be cleaning and sanitizing of reusable menus, if this is what establishment chooses to use. We would recommend actually discarding all the paper menus or make them or discard them after each use. So also, while you establishing your cleaning and sanitizing protocols, please pay attention to usage of the products that are only EPA registered disinfectants. They're proven to be effective for the viruses and bacteria. So, and the list is provided, and the link to that EPA registered cleaners and sanitizers is provided and embedded in our guidance documents. Also, it is very important for food establishments to remember that their warewashing equipment must work properly. Okay, it has to be warewashing machines that are high temperature machines, must be tested on a regular basis to make sure that the water temperature reaches that sanitizing levels. And also those machines that use sanitizer, levels of that sanitizer also has to be frequently tested. Now, employee health and monitoring and personal hygiene. It is very important to do a pre-check of your employees to make sure that they are healthy as they report to work. If an employee becomes ill or presents signs of illness, identify those signs during a pre-work screening and send them home immediately. At the very minimum, follow up CDC guidelines, and those are embedded in our guidance as well. Central District Health also created a guidance document for businesses, for business administrators on how to handle employee with a positive case of coronavirus, or how to handle an employee with potential exposure to a positive case. So this is another good document to keep in mind while preparing for reopening. Also, managers need to be extra diligent in communicating with staff on proper hand washing practices. Please remind your staff to wash their hands as often as possible and in accordance with the Idaho Food Code. Always make sure that all hand wash sinks stocked with soap, paper towels, and adequate supply of warm water. Instruct your employees on how to properly wear gloves and how to handle ready-to-eat foods. Advise your employees to wear clean clothing as well. Employees that are processing payment transactions and also handling bags or containers of food to customers should wash their hands and or use hand sanitizer between customers. If glove use is chosen as a preventive measure, an employee must wash hands before donning a fresh pair of gloves. So these are the things that managers and operators of food establishments need to take into account when thinking of policies for employee health. And it is also very important that an establishment has a very robust employee illness policy in place. And and make sure that your employees are aware of the existence of that policy and what that policy implies. So social distancing, of course, should also be taken into consideration when thinking about your reopening plan. First of all, you must ensure that your employees are practicing physical distancing measures as much as possible, not only in front of the customers, but also in the back of the house, in the kitchen, in the prep areas. Implement social distancing protocols for customers waiting in line inside or outside of the facility. A minimum distance of 6 feet between customers must be maintained at all times. So how are you going to implement those social distancing measures will depend on your specific operation. So for some, a physical barrier perhaps would be an ideal. For some, spacing tables 6 feet apart would be a better option. So this is up to owners and operators to decide. Also, we recommend to limit contact between wait staff and guests as much as possible. Encourage your patrons to wash hands thoroughly and frequently while in the establishment, and make hand sanitizers available if possible. So also make sure that bathroom sinks are properly stocked with soap, paper towels, and also adequate supply of warm water. And lastly, of course, think about how you're going to communicate your plan to your employees and customers. We are encouraging food establishment to place posters or signage at the entrance to your workplace and in high visibility areas that would encourage patrons and employees to not to enter the facility if they're feeling ill. That would encourage them to utilize cough and sneeze etiquette and hand hygiene. So, and also practice social distancing. So once your plan is established, you will need to fill out a form called Restaurant Dining Areas Reopening Plan. It is actually displayed on a slide here. So this form was created in conjunction between all Idaho health districts and Idaho State Food Protection Program. So we decided to utilize a simplified format for a plan. So basically, any establishment would obtain this form either on a local health department website, or it was sent out. Some of them received that form by email as well. So they would fill this form out and submit to their local public health district. 1 or 2 public health districts, to my knowledge, are using their own form, which is okay. But this is the one that is displayed here. This is the one that is state recognized, basically, and encouraged. And the state encouraged all public health districts to use this format. So this form is basically, as I mentioned, a simplified version of a plan in the checklist format. By checking items, you are attesting to planned implementation of particular safety measures. So on our website, on the Central District Health website, this form is available in a fillable PDF format. So completed PDF can either be submitted to Central District Health using the submit button on the PDF itself, or it can be emailed directly to email that pertain to the approval process. It is reopening plan at centraldistricthealth.idaho.gov. So once submitted, you will receive an automatic confirmation email that yes, we received your form and it will be reviewed. And a reviewer will also get back to you within approximately 1 to 3 business days with an approval. Food establishments, however, need to remember that they do not need to wait for an approval of their plan in order for them to reopen. Once the form is submitted, you're good to go. And later on, you will eventually receive your approval. Food establishment also ask us whether or not they will be inspected after they reopen. So the answer to that is no. We are not planning on inspecting food establishments specifically pertaining to their reopening. So, however, if when your routine inspection comes up once a year usually, an inspector may address your reopening plan with you and may discuss certain safety measures. So keep that in mind. And it is also very important to have your reopening plan in written form, just in case if you have to present it to your inspector or let your employees to see the details of the plan. So we are highly encouraged to have that plan to be in written format. Also, every establishment, those food establishments that have multiple locations, and those locations may be located in different jurisdictions. You have to submit your reopening plan to the jurisdiction that issue a permit to a particular location. For example, if you have a location in Boise, Idaho, which is Ada County, or you have a location in Elmore Valley and Boise County, this is the jurisdiction of Central District Health, and your form needs to be submitted to Central District Health. If you have a location in Nampa or Caldwell, your form has to go to Southwest District Health, and so on. So this is important to remember because so far we're receiving quite a large amount of reopening plan forms that were submitted to other jurisdictions for locations that would be in Meridian or Boise or McCall, for example. Okay, so this document, restaurant dining areas reopening plan form that every food establishment that is planning to reopen need to fill out can be found on our website, on the Central District Health website. Also, on that website, we have a number of resources available, a number of guidelines available that will help you to establish your plan. This would be Essential District Health Guideline for food establishments reopening, the FDA recommendations for reopening retail food establishments, and also there is a link to National Restaurant Association resource. So I would encourage to use our website as your first source of information, and then go from there. Okay. So this is all I had, and I would be happy to answer any questions at the end of webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. Really appreciate you taking the time to share all this with us today. I think you answered, one of the biggest questions that we've been hearing is what form to use, where to get it submitted, and things like that, and whether or not they need to have the approval before they open on Saturday. So thank you for answering that question.
Sure.
Next up, I'd like to, introduce our next speaker. While it's not required at this time for employees to return to work, one of the most important factors that have been outlined all along is the importance of testing and tracing to slow the spread of the virus. Joining us today to talk about the availability of testing in the Treasure Valley is Tina Upson, Executive Director of Crush the Curve, Idaho. Tina?
Hey, thanks, Sean. So I'm super grateful to be here, grateful for the hard work that the Chamber has done. It has been really helpful for us around the state. We have multiple cities and different groups reaching out and genuinely wanting to just replicate and be able to build off of and have that unified symbol of joining together to fight a common enemy, right? So really grateful for the work that the Chamber has done in Meridian, and all of you that are business owners in this area. You're super fortunate to have such forward-thinking leadership. So I'm grateful to be here. I'm here on behalf of the Executive Director of Crush the Curve, Idaho. Crush the Curve is a group a 501c3 that was formed about 4.5 weeks ago by a group of business leaders from around the state, just really wanting to find out how they could help take action to leverage their network and to lean on resources they had, and just see, what was it that they could do, if anything, to help support and facilitate reopening of Idaho businesses. And then, from the day I was brought on, it was like, hey, we're going to do our very best to help in the moment we're in, but really with an eye forward on, we call it the back to school date, but, an eye forward to fall, when influenza is and season is here, and a lot of symptoms that are going to mirror COVID, and we're going to have all of these things. Like, what are the things that we could do to not only help it open up now, but also stay open as we move forward? So with that in mind, I'm going to talk a bit on testing here. When I first came on board and the group was formed, testing availability was a real problem, and that wasn't an Idaho problem. That was a nationwide problem, worldwide problem, and you would see it on any news channel. And there was a shortage of different parts and pieces of the testing capabilities. And one of the things that we found that if we could help alleviate the struggle on was the test collection kit. So this is when someone's actively sick or believed to be actively sick. There's a COVID PCR test, and this is that nasal swab. And the collection kits themselves were in hitting supply chain issues, and then the testing, which is the next piece, was hitting issues with certain labs, and then there's all these different parts and pieces. And so what I was able to do is just focus on that issue and be empowered to be able to move like a startup, or a business is able to do. And when one place tells us no, spin move to the next, find 10,000 kits here, buy them, and then move on to the next, and just kind of continue to acquire and then disperse around the state. So that was what we were able to do, was secure tens of thousands of testing kits, push those out around the state, and really help to secure that when people were sick, they could get tested. And that's been something that we felt really good about. The other kind of testing, it's gotten us a lot of attention, and it isn't, it's a really important data point, and it's going to become more and more important to understand the disease, is the antibody test. And that is the type of antibody test that we have supported with Crush the Curve and have stood beside a medical partner to facilitate has been a serological test that we've partnered with the University of Washington on. So this is a blood draw sent to University of Washington. It's looking for antibodies. It's basically, the intent of it is to see if you have had COVID, not if you currently do. And so we've been able to run, I think we're at 14,000 about, maybe more individuals through antibody testing. This is a lot of individuals who personally wanted to know. They believed they had it. It was important to them to understand that. Or it was individuals like we saw Boise State's head football coach come in and just wanting to help do something and take action and contribute to the data pool from that. So we've done a lot of that testing as well. But when we talk testing shortages and whatnot, that wasn't the type of test. It was really the one that said, hey, if somebody's sick, could we test them or not? And it was, at the time, we couldn't really test all those that really needed to be tested. And yet we were all looking at testing resulting data to decide when to open the economy. So it was really problematic. So when it comes to testing availability, especially in the Treasure Valley, we're super blessed. We've got really great medical partners here. Salter Medical has been second to none as far as just letting us just drag them at light speed, especially for a healthcare provider, to whatever the cause needs to be, and to stand up and test in mass, individuals that need it. When it comes to testing, the important thing that's going to be really important, and we're getting there, is for everybody to understand at the individual level what a testing protocol needs to look like. Meaning, I don't feel good today. Should I get tested? I don't feel good today. Should I stay home? Because I get tested, if I still don't feel good, am I still staying home? Because I get tested and the test is negative, does that mean if I still don't feel good, I'm staying home or going to work? And so we're spending a lot of energy and resources in developing the educational collateral to help at the individual level understand the answers to those questions, and to support a lot of that individual onus that we felt, that we heard today in the governor's press conference was placed on us, right? So there's a lot of individual responsibility to community health now that we're hearing. So how can we, best help support that? And we believe education is going to play a big role there. When it comes to employee testing, this is a difficult one, especially for uninsured, especially for, companies in which maybe it is self-insured, but there's not every single thing is covered by insurance, or the claims, if I have a lot of employees, can be expensive. We have had quite a few employers that are requiring the nasal swab before returning to work. So they haven't been in the building for some time now. They want to make sure nobody's actively shedding virus upon returning. Certainly protocols should, represent if somebody is feeling sick and has COVID-like symptoms, that they're not in your workplace, and that isn't something that is frowned upon, right? That's the thing that has to happen, and that they get tested for the virus itself. We have had some companies that elect to do both. They call it a baseline. They wanted to know, is anybody actively sick and does anybody have antibodies? So we have seen some of that. And one of the things that I think is important to understand is that the cost planning for a business that now comes along with this new normal, the other side of COVID, what that looks like as far as, employees and the time that they need to maybe not be at the office if they are symptomatic, that you're asking them not to be in your place of business, to support testing if you can, and to understand from a cost of doing business perspective, what it looks like if you show up for your employees, to help on the expense side of testing. What does that save you and what could you do? So those are things to consider for sure. But those are kind of like the highlights on the testing element. We also have been able to support, we've secured enough Kinza thermometers, which is a smart thermometer that reports a geo-fenced area of where fevers are at. It doesn't say the individual person or their personal address, but it does tell us an area. So like Wilder School District, for example, just got enough of those for all the families in their school district. But we've secured enough of those, and we've been fortunate to have companies, large companies are getting those for all of their employees and then sponsoring a school district is kind of how that's rolling out. And our hope would be just to create some leading indicators. Fever doesn't always mean COVID is there, but it could help us to, stand up a pop-up testing facility and just see is it COVID that's causing this percentage of spike in fever. So these are just some of the things that we're doing over here on our side to try to help as best as we can to support all Idahoans, to just be aware of their own community, what's going on from a community health perspective.
Thank you, Tina. Appreciate the partnership with Crush Curve Idaho. Thank you. Also, one of our partners that's been very supportive of our efforts with this program has been the City of Meridian. And the City of Meridian is very, very interested in supporting the Meridian businesses. Just yesterday, the City of Meridian, in an effort to assist local businesses, approved fee waivers for 3 permits. And that includes the alcohol catering permits, the temporary use, promotional sales use permits, and the limited duration sign permit. They have, all of these have been approved for fee waivers that will go into effect yesterday, May 13th, and will remain in effect through December 31st, 2020. This is really to help businesses as they start trying to open up and needing to expand their maybe outdoors onto patios and spaces outdoors, expand their dining space into adjacent outdoor areas. So be sure and visit the City of Meridian's website for this press release and more information. All the links are here for the permits. You still do have to apply for those permits, but all of the fees have been waived. So thank you to the City of Meridian for helping with that. With that, I'd like to introduce our next couple speakers. This is somebody that we've just recently, been introduced to, and are very interested in hearing from them. Meridian and the Treasure Valley is home to some of the most creative and successful businesses in Idaho. These webinars help bring everyone together and share what they're doing in respective industries to reopen in a safe and healthy manner. And some businesses are implementing some best practices and sharing with you ways to keep Meridian healthy and open for business. Please welcome Andrea Sorensen and Dustin Sidaway from Lingo.
Thank you. Thank you. I know Andrea and I are both excited to be here and to talk to you guys today. We're especially excited to talk about restaurants. Me personally, my dad was and is a restaurant owner. So I grew up cooking, cleaning, sneaking food and helping out. But I also saw the unique challenges that restaurant owners face day to day. And I understand how hard you guys work. And I know that while it's crazy right now, and a lot of people have seen this as kind of a vacation from work, you guys probably aren't taking much vacation, that you've probably been staying up late at night, thinking about reopening and trying to figure out the best way to do that. So we're excited to talk about it. So Andrea and I are from Lingo. Lingo is a technology company, and we've built a technology that is being used nationwide, but we are founded here in the Treasure Valley, and we consider ourselves part of the local community here. And so we are making an emphasis right now to really help out the local businesses. Our technology has been applied in a few different industries, but since the crisis has hit, we have realized that the restaurant community was able to benefit from what we've developed more than a lot of other industries, actually. We are offering to help provide, we're helping restaurants to help provide touch-free experiences when they reopen. So, and for the members of Meridian Chamber, we're also offering some extra financial assistance, kind of our way of giving back to Idaho, who's helped us so much through our journey. So let's talk about, on the next slide, challenges a little bit that restaurants are facing when reopening, and these are specific challenges that Lingo feels like that we can help out with. So the first challenge, and that's been talked about already today, is dealing with the CDC and the government compliance here on sanitization and opening up in a healthy way. The rules are changing, and they have changed, and there's I think restaurants have always focused on cleanliness and healthiness, but they're going to have to double down on those efforts now to keep compliant. And along with that, is our second point here, is the customer uneasiness. Not only is it key for restaurants to be compliant and to stick with the guidance, but also they've got to let customers know that they are doing that and help customers feel comfortable coming back and dining in the restaurant. There's a lot of hesitancy right now out there. And so it's not only key to be safe, but it's key to help customers feel like they are safe. And we feel like we might be able to help out with that. Also, there's some extra costs involved right now, right? We talked about the menus. Natasha talked about keeping the menus sanitized and cleaned, or either sanitizing and cleaning menus, or providing, disposable menus. Either way, there's some extra cost there. We're either taking a lot of time sanitizing and cleaning and helping customers feel comfortable with that cleaning, or we're printing costs, right, for these menus. Also, a lot of companies are right now currently using delivery services like Grubhub or DoorDash to help deal with the stay-at-home order. These services can also take a lot of cost. We're seeing reports sometimes up to 30% of orders can be paid off to Grubhub or Uber Eats. So we're hoping that we can help lower those costs also. Social distancing and floor plans, you're probably not gonna be able to seat as many people as you used to. So it's key to get people in and out quicker and to make sure the experience is done in a way that gets people what they need quickly and efficiently. And also the continually changing landscape in the business right now. Like, we know that the regulations are changing daily or weekly, daily, all the time. You don't really know what business is going to be like a month from now. So it's key that we are able to, as business owners, that we're able to adapt quickly to whatever changes come our way. So let's go to the next slide, and I'll just talk a little bit about what Lingo does. So we pride ourselves in helping companies, making most of the moment. So we are basically a information delivery platform. So we help companies deliver information at the right time, in the right moment, with one tap on their own device. And as they do that, we also help them enhance engagement and experience of the customer. And so now we apply that to restaurants, and what we're doing for restaurants is we're basically helping them provide digital menus for the customers on their own devices that they can access very easily, and which gives them that touch-free experience, and also gives them the comfort level that they might need in order to come in and dine at your restaurant. And it's easy for them, and it's easy for the restaurant to get in to the technology. Let's go to the next slide. So the way it works is when a Lingo can provide information to your customer a few different ways. So they can provide the menu by one is through a quick scan of a QR code, which you see on the screen. So when a customer walks in to your business, they might have a sign on the front desk that says, "Hey, welcome, scan this QR code." Or we might have some signs on the tables themselves or on the coasters. There might be some QR codes. We can decide how we do that. But all the customer has to do is take their camera on their phone, turn on the camera, and put it up to the QR code, and it'll automatically scan and deliver the information. And you can actually do that on the screen right now if you want to. This is a QR code to our one of our more recent local projects that we did for a restaurant here in town. But so they can scan the code, and the information is pulled up on their phone. The cool thing about this is you don't even have to download the app to get the information. The information is pulled up immediately in the user's web browser. They are then given the option to just view the information, or they can download the app for a couple additional features. But the information is delivered right away. And so there's a couple other ways that the information can be delivered. If someone has already downloaded the app, then we can use geo technology, which will sense when they walk into your restaurant, and it will automatically deliver the information as they walk in. We also can use devices like Bluetooth beacons that will push the information via Bluetooth to your phone. So there's a bunch of different ways that the information is received, and it's really easy. It's just one tap and they get that information. So in the next slide, we'll show you what it kind of looks like once they get the information. So when the information pulls up on their device, it looks like it's your app. It's branded as your app. It's your brand. It's your menu, and it goes to your customers, right? And this is the local some screenshots we did from the local Big Judd's recently. And as you can see, you can include pictures, you can include text, you can include video on your branded app. So as the customers come in, they get a unique experience that you designed with your imagery, with your wording, and it's easy to navigate. Not only are you providing your menu, you can also provide other information like delivery and pickup instructions. You can provide them with information on what you're doing to keep them safe during the COVID-19 crisis. You can also provide links to your website, to payment options, to other tools that you might have. So it's fully integrated into the process that you're already using, and it's really easy to get into. That's one thing I haven't really mentioned. You know, most restaurants and other businesses probably consider building their own app at some point. That usually takes tens of thousands of dollars, and 6 months to a year is the average amount of time it takes to build your own app. With this technology, it's already somewhat pre-built, so you can actually get into this to your own branded app within days, and literally days. I think with Big Judd's, we had them up and going in less than a week, and we can do it as quick as we get the information from you. So that's another great way to get up and going right now, as we know that restaurants are opening up this next week. So let's go to the next slide, and I'll show you a few more features that the app has. It's got its own back end that you can upload and change and edit the information anytime you want. It's really user friendly. It's basically drag and drop technology. So you can drag in pictures, drag in videos, change the text, and copy and paste wherever you want to go. And you'll see on the back end, you'll be able to see exactly what it's going to look like on a user's device before it goes live. What's great about this is it's super timely and super adaptable. So as your menu changes, you can change it on the fly. You can change prices on the fly. I know there's been some restaurants that have had issues with food supply the last few weeks. And so, you know, I was talking to one restaurant owner who was running out of beef because they weren't able to get it, and so they wanted to remove some beef items off their menu and increase sales on their chicken items, and so they were lowering prices on chicken items. They were able to do this instantly, and it changes. You know, with the old menus that you had, that's sometimes hard to do, right? Is to make those changes quickly. Also, another cool feature that this software has is analytics. It can help you. As users use your app, you are able to see everything they're doing, and you're able to see what pages users are visiting the most, what they're coming back to, what features they're interested in, which ones they're not. And you can see how your app is being used, and there's lots of different metrics that we measure for you that you can get access to, so it can help you provide a better experience for your customers, because you can see what they like, what they don't like, and what they're using and what they're not using. So it just allows you to tailor your app as time goes on to better fit your customer needs. So that's kind of Lingo in a nutshell. We are basically providing a digital menu, and you can go to the next slide. We're providing a digital menu. We're providing restaurants in the Treasure Valley an opportunity to provide a digital menu, a touch-free experience for their customers as they get back to business. Because we are so glad for what the community has done for us over the years, we are deciding to get back to Idaho, and especially for the restaurants involved with the Meridian Chamber, we are offering a special offer to help out as restaurants get back. So in this offer, we're basically giving half off our subscription price for a year. If you use the coupon code MCC when you check out, you will get that 50% discount when you check out, and you will also get an option to defer payments for 6 months. So we know what you're going through. We understand the difficulties that you're facing right now. We don't want to be a barrier. We want to help you out. So we're hoping that you can get in and use our app without any payments for 6 months, and then hopefully you'll enjoy your experience and continue on with us. There's in the offer, you're going to get your own app, branded app. You're going to get the on-site location technology that we talked about, where you're going to get the ability to do push notifications. So you can actually, when people sign up for your app and download the app, you can notify them through push notifications of specials, deals, announcements that you have going on. And we're also, as part of the offer, we are helping with the build out, which we usually don't do. So instead of you needing to take time to build out the content on this app, we're going to jump in and use our team to do that for you. So you can take the time to bring your business back, and we'll take the time to take your branded information and we'll make it look good for your app. And we're also going to design some printouts and some signs that you can use to help your customers scan the codes and get the information they need. So you just got to visit our website at lingo.com/backendbusiness and use the coupon code MCC. We will probably, if it's okay with the chamber, maybe we'll have them send out some information, detailed information on how to access this website. Andrew, did I miss anything?
I think you did a great job of describing that, and we're hopeful that this will help you to get your restaurant reopened and to be able to communicate to your customers the efforts that you're taking to keep them safe so that they feel confident. That helps us kind of get back in business in a way that also keeps us safe. So thank you for having us on the call, and we look forward to helping your business.
Excellent. Thank you. I appreciate y'all putting this offer out there for the businesses here in Meridian. And you know, we know they're all struggling, and this is going to help them be compliant and build consumer confidence. So thank you. With that, I just want to remind everyone, you can put a question in for anyone, Natasha, Tina, or our guests from Lingo, in the question box, and we will get to those right now. We've go into our question and answer session. Dustin, I do have a question here. Someone's pointing out, what differentiates you from competing technologies with Lingo? And does your system currently work with existing point of sale systems?
Yeah, so that's a good question. We have really focused our technology on customer engagement and experience and ease of access. So our technology is built in a way that helps customers get your information right away. They don't have to download an app. They can the information is delivered to them seamlessly with one tap. And I would say we do that better than anybody else. We also have we focused a lot on our other features that really work on engaging the customers and getting them the information that they need at the right time. So one example is we have actually a patented smart language technology, which we're pretty proud of. It's a technology that when they scan a QR code or they receive a beacon and they start to use the information, it automatically detects what language their phone is in, and it can deliver the information in their language. We've also got all, like I mentioned, you know, the push notifications, and our back end is great, where it's super user friendly. So we've just tried to make a really good user friendly experience. We recognize that most companies are looking for a mobile solution, but there's not a really easy way to get into it without, like I mentioned, a 6-month build out and tens of thousands of dollars. This is an easy way to get into a mobile solution overnight that looks clean, it looks nice, and is branded your way. So, you know, I'm pretty proud of what we've done, and I see it doing pretty well against the competition. Now, the second question, remember what the second question was?
Does it currently work with point of sale systems?
Right. So we right now they cannot pay on the app itself, but they can link to other online solutions if they are accepting payment online. So we decided not to spend a lot of our time on that technology itself, on the payment part, because one, there's a lot of barriers to paying on your phone. For one, the app stores will take a big chunk of that money when you pay on your phone. Two, we're also focused on customer experience, and so we definitely don't want to cut back on we're focused on the entire customer experience, and the ability to interact with the staff at the restaurant is still, I think, important.
Yeah. You know, one of the other reasons that we're looking forward to partnering with Lingo is they are a Treasure Valley-based company, and they're offering such a great start program for Meridian-based restaurants. And as you mentioned, quick startup, just, you know, a few days and you can have things ready to go to be a solution. So thank you with that. Any other questions? Let me see here real quick. All right. I think that's about it that we have today. I just want to thank everyone for helping with this presentation. Thank you all for joining us and help spreading the word that to all Meridian businesses that we're here to help them open in a safe, responsible way and want to keep Meridian healthy and open for business. Be sure to answer the follow-up survey that we'll be sending your way so that you can get the collateral materials and that are available today. Visit keepmeridianhealthy.org for more information and pass this along. This webinar will be made available shortly so that if you couldn't catch it at the scheduled time, you can watch it and learn more about the opening procedures and best practices for food establishments, restaurants. Thank you all very much. Oh,